First story is titled, Am I the a-hole for telling my boyfriend's coworker that we're not married? I've been with boyfriend for about 5 years and we live together. He does not want to get married, which I'm fine with now, but it was a point of contention early in our relationship. Boyfriend was talking to a coworker on Zoom when I brought him some coffee. Coworker said something like, "So, this is the lovely wife I've heard so much about." I said something like, "Thanks, but we're not married." He said, "Oh, boyfriend always calls you his wife," and then introduced himself. I introduced myself, then ended the conversation and left as quickly as I could while still being polite because both boyfriend and coworker were giving me a weird vibe. A little while later, boyfriend came out of the office and asked, "What was that?" I didn't know what he meant, so I asked what was what. Boyfriend then said that there was absolutely no need for me to correct coworker, and that it's better if people think I'm his wife. I said I'm not his wife. I'm his girlfriend, and he never told me that he told other people that I'm his wife. This somehow becomes an argument, with my side being that boyfriend never told me that his coworkers think we're married, and boyfriend's side being that I should have figured that being called his wife indicated that coworker thought I was his wife, and I shouldn't have corrected him. And when I said I thought he just made an assumption, boyfriend said that wasn't the point. The point was that there was no need to correct him, that it was rude, and that it makes boyfriend look like a douche. He then said that the solution to this is that, when he next has a video call with coworker, he wants me to come in again, strike up a conversation, and say that I was messing with him, and that boyfriend is actually husband, and us not being married is an inside joke I thought coworker was in on. I then said that was the dumbest freaking plan he'd ever come up with, and no freaking way am I doing that. And he said I was being an a-hole, that I got him into this, and now I have to bail him out. Am I the a-hole? Now for the top comments. Not the a-hole. That is so shady, and it feels like there is a lot more going on. If you're not married, he doesn't get the perks, and that includes calling you his wife. I wonder if he's lying to take advantage of this discriminatory information that shows that married men make more money than single ones. Edit, not endorsing that. Yeah, I'm also wondering about FMLA. Promotions looking good to upper management. Hell no, not an a-hole. Why is he calling you his wife and he doesn't marry you? That seems kind of stupid. Having a wife is a leg up in a lot of professional contexts. It gives the impression you're dependable, settled, a family man, more than if you were just casually dating around. Opie's boyfriend wants the societal benefits of marriage among his co-workers without the commitment. P.S. OP do not marry this schmuck. Not an a-hole. That would be the stupidest inside joke in history. If your husband is adamant in calling you his wife, why doesn't he propose? Lol, considering your long history too. That would be the stupidest inside joke in history. Exactly what I said. I can't imagine getting on the thing with coworker and being like, "Yeah, I jokingly act like we're not married," and acting like that's just a normal thing to do. Now for the next story. Am I the a-hole for still attending a wedding after my wife's miscarriage? My wife miscarried our baby a week ago. She's absolutely besides herself. I was very upset as well. But at the same time, I know that it was obviously not meant to be, especially when it happened so early in the pregnancy before anybody could really form an attachment. My dad is kind of a character in my family. In our entire extended family, everybody else is off average or slightly below average income, while my dad got lucky when he was in his 30s and has made a lot of money. He's 67 right now. Him and my mom divorced when they were both 35, and he's been with my stepmother, 49 female, for 20 years before they divorced 2 years ago. Around Christmas, my wife and I got an invitation to his wedding ceremony with his new fiancée who is 25 and pregnant. My wife initially didn't want to go and was very against it. She had become close to my stepmother and my half-siblings from my stepmother, and said she thinks my dad is trash. I was able to convince her to, reluctantly, agree to attending because the ceremony was only 20 people in total, and my dad would definitely feel it if even one person didn't attend. Before the holidays, I was told my hours at work would be cut. My dad usually doesn't give handouts, but he has offered to help me out and has sent money even though I didn't explicitly ask. After my wife miscarried and I brought up the wedding, she said she wasn't going to drive 4 hours to see my dad, and that she once again only feels bad for my ex-stepmother, who has reached out to offer her condolences while my dad hasn't. I ask if she still feels sick, and she has insisted she's physically okay, but I'm never going to get over it. So I kept asking why she didn't feel well enough to attend a wedding. And she said because she wants to be alone with just her and me and just be in each other's companies. She begged me not to leave her for the weekend. I intended to stay at my dad's house. I finally get annoyed because I felt like she was talking about the baby as if it were still here, and told her that the baby would never be a living entity and burying herself in covers wouldn't make it any better. I ended up packing my stuff and attending my dad's wedding. Am I the a-hole? My wife and I had a phone conversation right after the wedding ceremony, where she accused me of doing it for my dad's financial support and said she'd take on personal debts before she accepts money from my dad. Now for the top comments. That the baby would never be a living entity and burying herself in covers wouldn't make it any better. Jesus Christ, do you seriously have to ask if you were an a-hole? You were worse than an a-hole. You were heartless and cruel to your wife. You're the a-hole. Exactly this. I can't think of a better way of wording it than this. OP is honestly the most disgusting poster I've seen for a long while. Stay at your disgusting father's house. Forever. You're the a-hole, an astoundingly selfish, self-righteous, heartless a-hole. Enjoy your divorce. The apple doesn't fall far from the tree. OP, you're the a-hole. You're the a-hole. Not so much for wanting to go to the wedding, but I felt like she was talking about the baby as if it were still here and told her that the baby would never be a living entity, and burying herself in covers wouldn't make it any better. Dude, the mere fact that you're calling it a baby means that you don't get to sweep this loss under the rug and demand that everything go back to normal in a schedule that's convenient for you. Your wife is hurting. Physically, even if she wasn't very far along and didn't need more than a checkup, pregnancy hormones don't go away immediately just because there's no longer a pregnancy. Mentally and emotionally. You don't have to just stand there and nod your head if she wants to badmouth your dad, but you need to do a way better job of supporting her through the grieving process. Next story. Am I the a-hole for taking vacation and leaving my husband with every single house duty there is for 4 days? My husband and I have been together for 8 years, recently married, 15 months ago. We have a 4-year-old son. For the past 3 years, I have worked from home. Such a godsend. 12-hour shifts 4 days a week. It's a struggle because my husband gets home from work at 1 a.m. and takes 2 to 3 hours to unwind, so he doesn't get to bed until maybe 3 or 4 a.m. and sleeps basically all day until he has to leave for work. On his days off, he spends that with me and our son, obviously, but I have noticed that as time goes on, he does less and less around the house. Before this, he would make dinner on his days off, take care of all of son's needs and do basic cleaning so that I could have a breather. Now he doesn't make dinner at all, falls asleep on the couch by 7, so I have son duty 24/7 and hasn't lifted a finger to clean in weeks. So on my 3 days off a week, I end up having to deep clean my entire house because I don't have time to do anything on my work days aside from the bare minimum. 2 weeks ago, I asked him for some help. He happily obliged for all of 30 minutes before taking off to go help a buddy with his car, and didn't do jack squat after returning home because he was tired. I needed a break. I told him this. His way of comforting me was by hugging me and saying, "You're doing such a good job." Didn't offer to help or anything. So I made a plan. Asked my mom to take my son for 4 days and planned a vacation for myself with work. I dropped my son off yesterday with my mom. I only did this because my husband obviously works and took off to our cabin 58 miles away to relax. My husband started texting me last night asking where I was. I told him the cabin. He asked where our son was, so I told him. He then started going off about how this is selfish of me, and that if he had realized I wasn't merely stressed out, that he would have helped out more. Used the argument that he too is stressed out and tired. He claims my communication on the issue was terrible and that I could have been more open and laid it out. Says that I'm an a-hole for taking a vacation without him because he could have used it too. But the thing is, I straight out told him I needed a break. I asked him for help, he disregarded it all. But now I'm curious if I'm an a-hole. Edited to add, our conversations went exactly as I wrote them above. So maybe I was lacking in the communication department. Now for the top comments. Not the a-hole. I'm so sick and tired of people saying Opie sucks too for not communicating. But who tells her what needs to be done around the house or how to take care of a child? Does husband not have eyes? Can he not see what needs to be cleaned, tidied, or cooked? Does he not know his child's needs? If he did before, maybe this 4-day vacation without a child to care for or a wife to clean up after him opened his eyes. Amen. Do these people think women are born knowing how to clean? That we have magical powers that allow us to spot dust? Men see these things. They just assume someone else will take care of it. Plus, it's exhausting to have to tell someone that is supposed to be a partner what you need help with as if they were a child. Not the a-hole. Ask my mom to take my son for 4 days. I was all ready to give you not the a-hole, even assuming you were leaving your husband to work out care for his son. He could have used it too. He has a house to himself, with no wife nor child to worry about. How is he not also getting a vacation? Your last sentence got me too. The fact that he sees a week alone at home as a punishment rather than a treat is very telling. Everyone sucks here, but man am I on your side. I absolutely see why you needed a break, and you even went above and beyond to find a babysitter. But man, just disappearing for 4 days like that is not okay. I'm not saying you should have invited him with, but it's just basic communication to tell your spouse where you and his child are before vanishing for days. So, not the a-hole for taking the vacation, but everyone sucks here because you literally just left. Now for the last story. Am I the a-hole for telling my husband to stop using my vehicle? My 34 female, husband 36 male, has a long history of buying himself nice things and expecting everyone else in the family, we have 2 kids, to only have very cheap and/or hand-me-downs. For example, he buys himself the newest iPhone when they come out, and he gives me his old one. When he wants to read a book, he buys the digital book, audiobook, and physical copy, so he can read however he wants whenever he wants. But when my kids want to do activities, I have to save and find ways to pay for them, sometimes out of things like bonuses I make at work. Recently, I found out my husband racked up $70,000 in credit card debt, so I took over our finances to try to do whatever I could to pull us out of debt. Also note, I am the breadwinner. Over the year, I work approximately twice as many hours as him and make over twice as much money. I don't care a lot about that, but I really feel like our money should be more equal than me supporting his habits. I really hate materialism, which is why this has gone on for so long, but I'm so tired of how unequal it all seems. So here's the am I the a-hole part. Every time we have purchased a new vehicle since we have been married, my husband picks it out and he gets to drive the new vehicle and I get the older one. The last time this happened, we agreed that the next new to us vehicle would be mine. About 9 months ago, he got into an accident and totaled our car. Like he agreed, I got to pick out the replacement vehicle and we said it was mine. It's even only in my name. Since the day we brought the newest vehicle home, he keeps taking it everywhere. He drives it to work, he takes it shopping, etc. I explained this frustrates me because he removed my items from the vehicle, leaves trash in it, and he takes it when I need it too. This has continued for 9 months. It was recently such a big mess that he had to clean it all out before I could use it again. I finally said he needs to stop using it as his primary vehicle. It's supposed to be my primary vehicle. He thought it was a joke and made more jokes about it today. I finally told him that he just needs to stop using it and needs to ask me for permission to use it. He seems to think this is ridiculous, but has reluctantly agreed. Am I the a-hole? Edit. I know this is not the biggest issue, and I've been taking a lot of steps to resolve the other issues, especially finances. At this time, I now have complete control of our finances. He has also agreed to this. The financial situation is a long story/issue in itself. I know I'm not the a-hole in the financial situation. I was just asking about the specific situation since in the US, vehicles are marital assets. Now for the top comments. Not the a-hole. After racking up $70,000 in debt without telling anyone, he needs consequences. Take away any spare keys to that car so he can't use it anymore. He needs to learn and understand financial health. And that's when you hurt your family by secretly racking up $70,000 in debt. You lose your privileges to new and nice things. And he's not treating the new car in a way that would keep it nice. Plus, it's in your name only. It's only your car. You buy expensive things, you treat them well so they last. Time to give him all the hand-me-downs and make sure he doesn't have any more secret credit cards. Watch your, and especially his, credit report. In case he decides to open up a new card or a new account somewhere without telling you, you will need access to his. This is one thing I'm nervous about. I check my credit report weekly. He will not give me access to his. I need to see if I can legally obtain it without his permission, but I'm thinking I can't. Update: I discussed this with him more this evening and he agreed to give me access to his credit report. Not an a-hole, and he definitely is. Start taking the keys when he gets home and putting them someplace only you know so you can drive the car. I know the go-to on this sub is immediately saying, divorce him, which I won't say, but seriously consider if this is someone you want to be tied to for a long time. When will he start putting your kids and family first? $70,000 in credit card debt could be the great addition to college funds, retirement fund, take family vacations, house renovations. He only thinks for himself, clearly. Do you want to be tied to that further? I understand your point. This is something I've definitely been weighing. He's made some improvements since we analyzed the debt, which is the only reason I stuck around after finding that out. And that's the end of this video, folks. As always, leave a comment and hit like and subscribe. And if you want more of this content, turn your notification on to get updated on the latest videos. And I'll catch you in the next one. Stay safe.